It's beginning of November and I am out here planting some fruit trees. I'm going to show you the steps I go through to plant this tree. And as you can see now, I have the hole dug and I've stripped away the top layer of all the grass. And I'm going to put ground cover, landscaping fabric down there to help keep the soil moisture from drying out. You can see the hole I dug is about as deep as the container, and that's a little bit more than twice as wide, but that's fine. So I'm going to take this out of the pot and start filling it in. Okay, so I took the tree out of the container, loosened up the root ball some, and put that soil, spread that down around the bottom. I had to fill up the hole a little bit more, because this little knob right there that you see, that's the joint from the rootstock to the main tree, and you don't want that underground, because what will happen is the main tree will start rooting out and growing suckers, and then that creates its own set of problems. So I filled the hole about halfway full, and I'm watering it down really good, pressing it in so it settles in good, and I'm going to put some more dirt in and water that in and fill it up to the top. Alright, so we've done filling the hole. I didn't water the top layer, that's about inch and a half, 2 inches. But everything under that is really damp and wet and soggy. So the next step for me is to put the landscaping fabric down and then bring up a bunch of rocks and to hold it down and cover it. And you'll notice one thing you did, after you get that settled in, you want to walk around and make sure that the tree is growing straight, and that's pretty straight. Well, there we have all the rocks in place. This is about 6 or 7 bucket loads. That bucket over there from that creek down there, and it's dry right now. We've gone through a drought, so the creek bed is dry. So I'm using the rocks from down there, and I'm hauling them all the way up to here. And it's about, it was 6 or 7 loads at about, I don't know, 60 or 70 pounds per load. That's a lot of rocks. So it was a lot of work. But anyway, so it looks pretty nice. Now I'm going to put a tree trunk protector on that'll keep the deer away, and then I'm going to stake this thing up for support, and then I'll be done. Okay, so there we go. 1 tree down, 6 more to go. This is what I have wrapped around the tree trunk. It's called Tree Armor Plus, and it's a tree guard and deer repellent. It has a 4% mix of white pepper, and that is supposedly field tested to keep aggressive deer away from your trees. So it installs in seconds, not really. Scented guard, you can't smell anything, but anyway, we're going to hope that works over the winter. Keeps rutting deer from scraping their antlers on the tree trunk and hopefully eating the leaves in the spring when they're budding up and all that. But I've got it staked down. I've got the gravel over the landscaping fabric, and I've got the tree armor. I had to use a couple of stick pins to keep it in place and wrap it tight. The instructions tell you how if you decide to do that, but we'll see how it works. If the trees are still here in the spring, then I'm happy. And you only use this over the winter. You take it off in the spring so you don't retard any of the growth on the tree. So there we go. Very happy, and the last thing to do is go ahead and give it a good soaking in, and then we'll be done. Okay, so here's the last thing I'm going to do. I'm going to take these jugs, I've got a bunch of them, and they're filled with gravel I got down at the creek. I'm going to take this little push pin, and about 1 inch from the bottom, I'm going to, well, too close, about 1 inch from the bottom of this out on the side, I'm going to put a little hole in these, and I'm going to let them, I'm going to open the cap just slightly so there's a little bit of air can get in there, and I'm going to let that drain and soak these trees in really good. Even though I watered them in well when I was putting them in, I'm still going to throw some more water down there. So I'll get that set up and show you what it looks like. Okay, here we go. I'm watering the tree. And I'll get you in here close enough. I don't know if you can see. Yep, you can see that. So I cracked the lid open just barely, and now I've got just a little trickle. And I don't know, maybe it'll take an hour for these things to drain, but it'll be a nice slow, kind of like a drip line, watering these trees. And I'm going to do this every 3 or 4 days until it starts to rain and this thing settles in for the winter. So that's it for today. Amateur tree planting 101. So this is the first time I've planted trees of any type. So I think it turned out pretty good. We'll see how good it is when I come back down here in the spring. So you know, once again, if you like what I'm doing on these YouTube channel with these videos, subscribe please, and leave your comments down here. Any comments are good. Let me know. Thanks for watching. Come back soon.